Hey guys, Pope Sano here, back with the patch 13.18 notes, and it's a decently effectual patch. I mean, we're starting to move towards worlds here, and so a lot of these patch notes, these changes that are going to be happening, as I've been saying for a little while now we're really getting into the meat of what will be meta at worlds. So, look, I'm actually pretty excited here. We got a new champion coming. We got some really nice nerfs. I like the nerf list this time around, I gotta be honest here. And some nice buffs to some of, at least one of my favorite champions in the game. So, let's take a quick look. I mean, you can see the preview here. But without further ado, let's just get right into it. Briar is getting released. And, yeah, I mean, I have some videos on her abilities rundown. I went over all of her teasers. I even did a Briar guide. And so, if you want to know how to play Briar day one, go check out my Briar guide. I'll link it in the description, and maybe I'll put a link to it right on the face of the video here. So yeah, check her out. Bard, alright. So, Bard's been in a bit of a weird spot, so let's see what are they doing to Bard. So, the maximum chime stacks are going from 5 to 10. Okay. Oh, for his passive, this is like, I think... Wait. In this patch, we have some nice quality of life. They're calling it quality of life for Bard, but, like, isn't this just big buffs? Our goal with these changes is to make Bard W feel better. Yeah, okay, that's fair. While the changes should strengthen his fantasy as a roaming champion, especially when traversing large distances. Okay, this is what I thought. Okay. So, whenever Bard would pick up a chime, right, he would get movement speed. That's kind of what helps him roam. He gets movement speed, he gets a bit of mana back, and he also gets a bit of... Or wait, sorry, he doesn't get mana back, does he? Why in my head am I thinking that Bard gets some mana back during when he picks up a chime? Yeah, I'm pretty sure he does. You Bard mains can let me know. I don't know why I'm drawing a blank there, but anyway, he does get movement speed, and what's kind of interesting about this is massive buffs to his passive. So he's going to be able to stack his movement speed passive twice as often, or twice as much, I should say, and it's going to last from 7 seconds to now 20 seconds. It's pretty big. Okay, W, the charges now accumulate. Oh, it accumulates charges, so similar to like an Amumu Q or something like that, right? You can have 2 charges of it, which is pretty nice. The cooldown stack charge time is going up by 4 seconds here, which is fair. I mean, you get 4 additional seconds to the cooldown, but you're also getting 2 charges. It's a pretty big deal. The charges going up by 2 is a pretty big deal. The time to get to full heal is cut in half. Wow. And the movement speed 30%, decaying over 1.5, now scaling up to 30%, plus a small amount of AP decaying over the same amount of time. So this doesn't matter whatsoever. No one cares about the really small, bit of movement speed that you get from that. What we care about is all of this here. I mean, you're basically trading 4 seconds for twice the charge time, the charge uptime, or excuse me, half the charge uptime, and double the charges. Pretty freaking good, man. Okay, Gwen Jungle, right? Weren't they talking? Yeah, Gwen Jungle buffs. Okay, health growth is going up by 6. All right, that's actually going up by 6. That's actually not too bad. By late game, we're looking at like, what is that? By about 110, I want to say 110 additional HP by level 18. That's not nothing. And then the magic damage to monsters on the passive, going from 6 to plus 10% AP to 10 to 15% AP. That's actually pretty good. I mean, I'm really interested to see when she comes out. I'm gonna try a clear on her and just see how it feels. Okay, Aurelia, her R cooldown is just getting decreased from 140 to 100 to 125 to 85. So, like, early 15 seconds, I don't think is going to matter too much. There's slightly more of a window in which you can just fight. But overall, going from 100 seconds down to 85 seconds, late game, when multiple team fights can be breaking out over objectives that are spawning close to each other, I do think that 15 seconds matters a lot more late game than it does early game. Okay, Jarvan, please. Please nerf this, dude. Alright, passive. Additional physical damage on basic attacks is 8% of their current health to 6% of their current health. So this doesn't matter at all against squishies, right? You're not going to feel the 2% necessarily, but against tanks, that will matter a lot more. Like when you engage onto a tank or onto a bruiser and you start that fight, that first auto attack, that's going to chunk for quite a bit amount of damage less. 2% on a tank that has like 4k health, right? That is actually a decent amount of HP. But still, I mean, I think overall, Jarvan is going to continue to be really, really strong. Kassadin, our AP ratio increased, so his RAP ratio is just getting 20% bonus AP. Again, like late game, this is gonna matter a lot. Like when Kassadin has 2 or 3 stacks on his ulti, and then he just ults on top of your head as a 5+ item, 4+ item Kassadin, he's gonna deal crazy amount of damage. So that's actually pretty nice for Kassadin, I think. But it still requires him to scale, right? This doesn't change the fact that he needs to get to a certain point in the game. Kayn. Alright, what is going on with Kayn here? So the passive, the Darkened Scythe. So Rost is going from healing 20 to 30% based on level. Okay. Physical damage dealt to champions to just 25% flat. So it's actually... I wonder how this kind of works out, because what's interesting is this is based on level, but like I assume, right, this is starting from level 1 and then 30% is level 18. So if you aren't getting Rost until level 11, level 10, level 9, like if it takes you a long time for some reason to get Rost, this is going to be a pretty fat nerf. If you get Rost early, you can still pop off, because this could be a bit of a buff, depending on, I'm not sure exactly how they've kind of laid out the scaling, but it's not that, this is not that big of a deal for Kayn. The R on, is this for Rost too? Darkened version damage dealt. This is just his ulti in general. 15 plus 13% per 100 AD of target's max health to, okay, so they're nerfing the AD ratio. I guess what this hits is Blue Kayn still, right? Because Blue Kayn building like just straight assassin lethality type thing, he lands his W on you and then he ults you and you're just dead because the burst damage is so high. Now they've kind of hit both of those main 2 spells. So this will be kind of interesting. Let's see. Note, still heals for 65% of the tooltip damage case, so that they haven't changed that. Yeah, this hits Assassin Kayn. This slightly hits Rost late game. But again, I don't think it's going to matter too much. Kennen. Kennen's E Lightning Rush. Energy cost is going from 100 to 80 at all ranks. I mean... I would have to look at Kennen's other ability costs, but is this gonna matter too much? Like, it's nice in general, right? Yes, you're gonna be able to not have to think about your energy conservation so much. You'll be more likely to pull off combos, or to maybe even play a bit more on the edge and hold your E for a longer amount of time, cast an extra Q, something like that. That said, I can't see this mattering too much, because it's not like your Lightning Rush is something you spam. Your Lightning Rush is something that you either use at the very beginning of the fight to engage, or the very end of the fight to get out. There's no too much in between, I guess. Especially because Kennen is like such a front-loaded, champion, right? He just drops his ulti on your head. He uses his E to rush in there, then he's using his Q and his W, etc., etc. Okay. Slicing Maelstrom, I almost forgot about this. Cooldown. Now this is really nice, right? So 120 at all ranks, but now Kennen is going to be, in a similar sense to what I was saying about Aurelia. This is really nice, because what this means in the late game, Kennen is going to have his ulti up effectively every single fight. I think this is a massive change. This is a huge change for Kennen. He's going to be able to do what he wants to do, which is 5-man ult, one shot, just layer CC, all that type of thing. Like, he's looking for that flank. I think this is really, really nice for Kennen, actually. E-Rush, not too big, but the R change is really big, and then when you put them together, this is actually ends up being very nice for Kennen. Okay, Rell, her E, full tilt, bonus movement speed away from enemies, going from 15 to 25% to 12 to 20%. That'll matter. I mean, that'll definitely matter, particularly when you get, like, you know, you get those tier 2 boots, and right now, Rell in the late game with those tier 2s, she just flying around with her E. This definitely does hit that, you know, 5% shaved off, but I don't think it's that big of a deal. Towards enemies, 30% to 50%, 24% to 40%. Yeah, I mean, she's going to be slightly more susceptible now. She's going to be a little bit less likely to get on top of you. But where this is going to matter is she's basically, like, beforehand... Oh, apologies there. Beforehand, Rell was able to get on top of you from a further distance. When you shave off some bonus movement speed, what you're basically doing is you're shortening the range of how far Rell can activate something like full tilt and get on top of you, right? So you can think about it almost like a range nerf in some sense. Okay. Senna, her passive. How many times have they changed this passive, by the way? Holy moly, Riot Games. Critical strike ratio reduction no longer reduces critical strike damage by 8.5%. Wait. Holy, wait, is this a buff for, this is a buff for ADC Senna, right? We incorporated she was expected to do too well with crit items. In the current state of the game, Senna is actually considerably weaker when opting to itemize crit. Okay, so they don't have the reservations around crit, so they're just removing that. I feel like this is really nice for ADC Senna, and she's just such a hyperscaler. Well, I don't know if hyperscaling is the right word, but she does become such a menace, you know, post 30 minutes into the game. Even as support, she will hit like a truck, and her range gets crazy. So I think this is really nice, actually. Like, is Infinity Edge or even Navori Senna, can that be a thing? Navori Senna with W and Q spam? That's kind of interesting. W last embrace, area of effect. Okay. Enemies hit with last embrace AoE snare are now afflicted with a stack of... Oh, this is really nice. So when you when you land your W and then the snare procs, they get an effect of Senna's passive. So, you know, it used to be that if you like auto attacked and then Q'd, you would get a passive stack, or like Q auto attack, something along those lines. Now you get it off the W. She effectively has just that much more ability to stack that passive alongside of taking away the crit nerf. Okay, that's could be some power creep going back to Senna here. I'm really interested to see how this does. Thresh. W shield strength per soul increased. Okay, I kind of like this way to buff Thresh, giving him a bit more shield utility. Thresh is a bit weak right now and is a fan favorite both to play and watch. It is important that Thresh is able to participate in both as a offensive and defensive support. Yeah, I mean, obviously he has tons of, well, they say what I was about to say here. He has tons of kill threat, tons of lockdown, but Thresh, if you can get on top of his ally, he can struggle sometimes because he is so skill reliant, right? Like you miss one thing, you screw up one thing, and the fight is gonna be rough. So let's see, what are they doing here? No change to the base, but they're basically adding 0.5 shields per soul. Okay, so yeah, sure. I mean, it's very minimal, but there will be situations where your ADC, instead of dying by one auto attack, they will live by one auto attack. That could happen here and there, and for a champion like Thresh who wants to get their ADC to snowball and just totally enable them, yeah, okay. I mean, I could see it. Obviously, it positively affects Thresh, but overall, it's very, very minimal. Tryndamere, dude, I've been playing against this champion I was playing against this champion actually almost every other game in Master Tier so far, and just get rid of this, please, Riot. Health growth is going down by 7, which ends up being 130, 125 HP early. Or excuse me, late game by level 18. So yeah, it's not nothing. Base attack damage going down by 2. This is a big deal because obviously it's not just his auto attacks, it's not just his E, but his passive, as it gives him more crit chance, for instance. Crit obviously scales in some ways with your AD, right? Because it's like multiplying that. So losing 2 AD early means his kill potential early also goes down, kind of, I guess, exponentially, if you consider the fact that he wants to get on top of you and just land free crits at like level 1, level 2, and just nuke you. So that does affect that. Okay, Xayah. Base HP going down by 30. Yeah, I mean, she just loses an auto attack worth of HP early. That's not nothing. Health growth is going up a little bit. So squishier early, tankier late. She'll more than make up for that. You know, that'll feel nice for Xayah late. Blade Caller. The cooldown is going up. Okay, so 11 to 9 to 13 to 9. So again, they're hitting early Senna. Basically, yeah, as I said, she's been dominating pro play, so totally makes sense. She's been doing well in high levels playing solo queue. Yeah. She's just gonna be more susceptible. She is a duelist queen even early, you know, early like level 3, you know, where she's chucking out those feathers. If her support has any type of CC, they can layer CC with Blade Caller. It's a ton of damage, so I don't mind this nerf whatsoever. Okay, the items. That was it for champion changes. Okay, the items. So, Crown is gaining 15 AP. It's not bad. Safeguard, 75% damage reduction for 1.5, 40% damage reduction for 2.5. And Crown will no longer provide 10 to 40 AP while the shield holds. Yeah, okay, so it's just less like instant turnaround power, but 15% AP all the time. Like, overall, I think this is healthier for the item. Like, I think this is going to feel better for Crown users and people that play against Crown. At the end of the day, Crown always felt bad in the sense that it was so useless whenever the enemy had the smallest way to proc it. Like Luden's Echo, right, would proc Crown, and then you're just screwed. Or a little bit of dot damage, or, you know, something like that. And that problem in some sense still persists, but it's not nearly as bad, right? Because 75% damage reduction for 1.5, that was like you're blocking almost everything coming at you for a very short amount of time. It was very anti-burst. Now it is still slightly anti-burst, but it's more like it's anti like getting hit by, I guess, 2 or 3 things over a slower duration, right? So yeah, I mean, this is like I got hit by Thresh Hook and the ADC started auto attacking me a few times. You know, that's gonna help with this more. Whereas this was like Zed has full comboed me out of the bush. I didn't know he was there. So I guess pick your poison in a sense, but overall, I do think this is a healthier change. It's going to feel nicer having 15% AP pretty much all the time as well. So yeah, I don't mind the way they're going with that. Spear of Shojin. All right, attack damage is getting nerfed by 5. Doesn't matter. I'm telling you right now, this doesn't matter. They need to probably rework this. Yeah, like Hecarim, for example, building this, absolutely insane. Yes, he loses a bit of damage, but he's still going to be a tanky threat. He's still going to go Conqueror. He's still going to out-sustain you. He's still going to spam those Qs. It doesn't matter. I don't think... yeah, they need to gut this item. This item drives me nuts. Static Shiv. Gaining 5 AD. Like, they're still changing this item, guys. Holy man. Okay, gaining 5 AD, and the minion shock damage is going down... is going down again. So why are we building this item? I'm serious. Like, what? Like, what is the point of building this item now? Don't you have this item for wave clear? Isn't that the whole thing? Quite the balanced roller coaster over the course of this year. Yeah, no freaking kidding, Riot. Initially, it was given a generous AP ratio to incentivize hybrid builds. extremely strong Rave Clear. Okay. Ultimately, both these aspects were 2 game warping. Yeah. This patch, Static Shiv's Wave Clear is being tuned to be more moderate, but it's receiving compensation in its overall. I mean, I don't think Riot knows what they want Static Shiv to be. Like, do you want it to be a Wave Clear item, or do you want it to be just like a standard ADC type auto attack, sustained damage type item? Like right now, I feel like this change, it's in this weird middle state in which you're not building it because it's going to give you crazy damage output and it's going to be this amazing item against champions. But now, like, are you building this item because it's good Wave Clear? Like, sure, it helps a little bit, but I don't know. Particularly late game, like, you're losing 150 damage on the minion Electroshock. Like, I don't know, Riot Games. All right, Stormrazor is getting, like, Stormrazor. See, here's the difference, though, right? Stormrazor, that big proc against, particularly against champions, it feels nice, right? Yes, the attack damage is fairly underwhelming, but now they're buffing it. Okay, so like it's in a spot in which it has enough AD to be that you're gonna take it for what it gives you, right? You want that empowered auto attack. It gives you that burst damage. Like I'm thinking Caitlyn headshot plus Stormrazor, like that's big burst damage actually on a squishy, right? Just particularly now it has 55 AD, very nice, right? This would be like, if we wanted to compare these changes, this would be like if Riot gave the AD to Stormrazor, but then they're just nerfing its energized passive. Would make no sense to me. Would just keep the item in a completely mediocre state, and I think that's really starting to happen to Static Shiv here. All right, Clash, cool. Clash is coming. Brand new ability icons. Ooh, oh my goodness. We got Lee Sin, Zed. Who do I play in here? I guess kind of no one. You know, that's nice. Arena ranked rewards. What? I didn't even know they were giving rank rewards for Arena. That's crazy. Ooh, Mythic Shop. What are we getting in here? Spirit Blossom Teemo. That's a nice one. Yeah. Leaving the shop. Okay. Anyone else? Not really. Okay, bug fixes. The skins. What do we got here? Oh yeah, the Street Demons. Street Demons Nico looks kind of cool. A lot of controversy around the Rengar skin. Yeah, I don't know. Anyway, guys, that is the quick patch update for 13.18. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. Worlds is coming up. I mean, this might shift the meta. I think this shifts the meta a little bit in low elo. I'm really looking at Senna here. I'm still looking at Spear of Shojin. But the rest of the meta changes, I don't think low elo is going to figure it out too much. Anyway, guys, this has been Pope Zano. We are out.